Let's start this video off with a disclaimer. The views expressed in this video are my own personal opinions, which may be offensive to some viewers. This video is not endorsed by any model manufacturer, nor is it intended to defame or shame any individuals or companies. You've been advised. Now let's get on with the video. Alright guys, Diecast Mania here, and I was looking at 3000 Toys the other day, and I noticed a bunch of what I thought to be familiar models. Except when I looked a little closer, I noticed the price. And the scale. Apparently Diecast Masters is starting a new 1/125th scale series called the Elite Series. After hearing the news about Diecast Masters producing more 1/125th scale models, I can safely say most collectors probably had this kind of reaction. Alright, I think we get the point. Just taking a look at the comments on the Model News Facebook page, we can see a lot of collectors are not at all happy to see 1/125th scale. I mean, just taking a look, the general consensus is why? Just why? What happened to other scales like 1/87th scale? Well, in this video, I'll explain some of my theories as to why Diecast Masters is choosing this odd scale. So earlier this year, Diecast Masters released the 793F in 1/125th scale. This model looked alright, wasn't too expensive, and the general reaction was, well, this is a weird scale. I don't know why they're doing it, but maybe Diecast Masters will learn and not make any more. This model was also part of the original Highline series, and it came in a tin. Due to the fact this model was actually part of the Highline series, there's no real indication that Diecast Masters would go forward with a whole new range of these models. Much to the dismay of many collectors, these models showed up on 3000 Toys earlier this week, which is affiliated with B2B Replicas, the US distributor of Diecast Masters. So this is the official document put out by Diecast Masters to announce the new 1/125th scale Elite series. Hey, let's take a look what it says at the top of the page. Coming soon, 5 of the largest cat machines presented in exquisite 1/125th scale, a Diecast Masters exclusive. Well, I sure hope this 1/125th scale stays a Diecast Masters exclusive. I mean, honestly, what diecast company just goes ahead and makes their own scale that's not even close to anything that people even collect? Alright, I'm getting pretty curious here. Let's go ahead and just look up what exquisite means. Extremely beautiful and typically delicate. Yeah, I don't think there's anything beautiful about these models. So this page supposedly gives some of the reasoning behind why they chose to scale. They want the models to be small enough that you can hold in your hand, yet somewhat detailed. And they come in these flip-top boxes with a mirrored base that the model screwed down to and the specs right behind it. If we look at the back of the page, we can see that they're saying these models are available in packs of 10. So you can get 10 of each or just 2 of each, which brings me back to the last time a company tried to make really small models of cat. And of course by models, I'm using that term extremely loosely here. The Northcott Caterpillar Construction Minis. That is the last time a Caterpillar licensee tried to make very, very small representations of Caterpillar equipment. Except none of them were to the same scale, which kind of led to awkward situations. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with loading a 793D with a 272C, right? I mean, the construction minis weren't exactly good representations of the real machines, but they were only $2, not the $60 that Diecast Masters is charging for their Elite series. So naturally, this brings me into the pricing of the new Elite series. So if you notice the 5 new models that are coming out, all of them are $57.99, regardless of how big or small they are. But if we look at the older 793F that was part of the Highline series, it's $39.99. So what on earth is the cause of this pricing discrepancy? Alright, so there's no going around it. The 793F and the 797F are both very large pieces of equipment. The 793 being a 250-ton class haul truck, and the 797 being a 400-ton class haul truck. So obviously there's going to be a noticeable size difference. But I did the math and it all just scales down to a matter of a little over an inch or so. So I can see maybe a $20 price increase off of the two different models due to the size. But when it comes to the smaller models, the pricing really does get out of hand. You look at the D11T, the 24H, and the 390F. They're all smaller than the 797 by quite a bit, and they're still the same price, which is a little bit confusing. Further confusion is added when you compare the Elite Series models to the actual pricing of the 187 scale models. Now, scaling down the real pieces of equipment from the Elite Series down to 125th scale and comparing them to the 187 scale models, we can see that the dimensions are just about the same, if not a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger than the 187 scale pieces. So it's not like the models are that much bigger at all. Something else that I noticed that if you take a look at the prices of the Elite Series models and compare them with their 150th scale counterparts, it's almost like you're paying for half of a 150th scale model when you're not getting anything remotely close in size nor detail. So this leaves me with one logical hypothesis as to why the Elite Series is so consistently priced. It is not because of the size of the models, it is because Diecast Masters wants to package them with a different kind of presentation than the rest of their models. As we've seen, Diecast Masters is no stranger to the different flip-top style box. So far, they've released two 150th scale models with this style packaging, and both of them happen to be special finish models with a significantly higher price than their standard Caterpillar yellow counterparts. So this seems to support a trend that the subtle appearance of the flip-top style box is about to signal a much higher price increase compared to other Diecast Masters models. So basically, Diecast Masters is just trying to tap into the market of corporate gifts and awards, which previously had been pretty much confined to CCM products. The most recent and short-lived Caterpillar licensee, Tonkin Replicas, tried this out with their gold chrome 988K wheel loader and 627K scrapers. They also offered a black VIP box, which was an option to complement their models. However, this seemed to have largely gone down as a failure in most people's minds, as not many of these products were actually sold at their original prices. So my honest opinion as to why this scale was chosen, and some other parts of the Elite Series in general, is because Diecast Masters wanted to produce Caterpillar's largest equipment in a small enough scale so that they could be displayed on desks or by collectors who didn't have a lot of room. Now, the general go-to scale for this kind of thing is 187 scale. Except they couldn't choose 187 scale because CCM produces brass models in 187 scale. So basically this led to a conflict of interest between current, past, and future models from both companies, as well as the potential to interfere with the values of already existing CCM models, which could be very well impacted by the appearance of much cheaper and readily available die-cast versions on the market. So to avoid this issue entirely, someone basically told them they could not use 187 scale and had to pick something else. Since 187 scale or HO scale was out of the picture, and N gauge or 1/160th scale was way too small, they basically picked something somewhere in between, and thus we have it 1/125th scale. So this leaves me with one final concern, the fact that they chose to name it the Elite Series. I'm sorry, but most of the elite discerning collectors out there who want a lot of detail and high quality are not going to collect a scale that's obscure and no one's ever heard of or even collects. Taking mediocrely detailed models in an obscure size, putting them in fancy boxes, giving them a premium price tag, and slapping the name Elite on them doesn't change anything. It doesn't make them any more desirable, collectible, or anything at all. They're not any better than anything out there, and they probably won't sell too well. Alright, I know this series isn't even out yet and I trashed the hell out of it. To be perfectly honest, it's an interesting prospect, Diecast Masters is making a daring move, and they're trying to push something different out there. Now, I see these are just scaled down versions of existing models. So I'm curious to see what would happen in the near future. Maybe they'll actually produce models that are exclusive to 1/125th scale. Maybe like a Caterpillar 6090 front shovel or something just cost prohibitive in a much larger scale. So they're not all that bad. I mean, for something small and obscure, they're actually kind of neat. I mean, the 994K actually looks very detailed for the size. It's pretty much a shrunken down version of the 1/50th scale model with a little bit of the functionality taken out, which is perfectly acceptable for how small it is. Now the 390, it could be better. The D11, it could be better. But in general, for being so small, they're pretty decent. And I look forward to seeing them as a final product, and maybe I'll even review a couple. You know, the pricing is a little high, but Diecast Masters, if you're listening, if you work on the pricing, you'll be sure to see a couple of them on my desk sometime in the future. So alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this ranty video thing. A shout out to all you guys who stuck it out to the end. Please comment below if you did watch this whole video. So anyway, as always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want kind of more of these style videos in the near future. So anyway, there you go. Thanks for watching.